Hello and welcome. Now today I've decided to, be at one with nature. So just decided to do an unboxing and a first impression of this mixer outside. Okay, so first things first, more knife. Oh, and it's already looking exciting. I think this is the easiest way to freaking take it out. Yes, it is. So here it is, the Soundcraft 12 input analog sound mixer. And I've been waiting for this because I've been really needing one actually. So let's get this opened up. And lots of other things. Actually, I ordered some extras in form of leads and stuff. Right, this thing is big, but I mean, I didn't expect anything small anyway because it's a sound mixing console after all. But it's all metallic except for the sides. And you know something? I might actually remove the sides because I don't have the abundance of desk space, so you can remove the sides. You can just like unscrew them from here. It's not like I'm going to carry it around with me or anything. Now this is the biggest freaking silica gel do not eat throwaway I've ever seen. And freaking huge. It's enough for a 3-course meal. Now this is something I've been needing a lot lately. And I'm really excited to have it. It's got 12 input channels. So I'm going to be doing a full-on audio setup video of my entire retro corner using this. And that's going to be in probably like the next part or something like this. Because this is just going to be like an overview. So here we are once again, another day, another gorgeous hot summer day, which I'm not going to complain about. I'm determined to not complain about, but I had to take a break that day because it was freaking hot. And even today it's freaking hot. And that is good, mate. I love it. Right, so let's kind of get all physical with this. I mean, hands-on with this. Ooh, I need cooling down. Anyway, the thing is, we've got no choice but to get hands-on with this because there is no manual included. I'm not going to pretend to know absolutely everything it does. Now, those of you who know me know that my way is hands-on anyway. I mean, if there's a manual here, I'll just like fling it behind me and start, messing around with stuff. And you do need at least some knowledge to start messing around with this kind of thing because, really it's just like, what does this button do? It won't work. You'll just confuse yourself. But anyway, the first thing that I notice about this, and the first thing is a criticism. When I plugged this in, it just switched on automatically. There is no freaking power switch anywhere, not that I know of. And this thing kind of gets hot. I can feel it getting hot there. There's a transformer inside there. In fact, there's no power brick. It goes straight into the mains. So you plug it in, it's on. I don't like that. That's one thing which I'll say. I don't like that. I need a power switch, dude. Come on, I need to turn this thing off at night when I'm sleeping. So, moving on from that. Now, I'm gonna start messing around with this thing and just having fun with it. And this is the point of this video. It's a first impressions and it's me kind of like, connecting stuff to it. And Sapphire Asymmetric EQ. Okay, so that's kind of the mid-range thing, isn't it? So this is, okay, this is that, when they have them on the mid-range here, when you have the, you cut the mid-range, you notch it out, it's narrow, it's like a narrow band. But when you boost the mid-range, it's wide mid-range. So it kind of like, you can really shape the sound with this thing. It's really good. It's got DBX limiters, which are here and only on these 2 first channels, and that will be good for me and nostalgia time because obviously those of you who know about me and nostalgia time, I tend to shout at games. Especially when I'm playing freaking Nebulous. So those are the freaking Nebulous buttons. Let's call them the Nebulous buttons. Anyway, so those are the DBX limiters. And we have Lexicon Effects here. Oh my god, I'm gonna have fun with this. Lexicon Effects here, there's so much. Ooh, okay. So yeah, there is so many features there, and yes, this thing gets warm. Why isn't there a power button? I'm sorry, but why isn't there a freaking power button? Right, so here we have all the inputs, and then we have the output parts here. I think this aux. These are inputs too, maybe? I have no idea. Anyway, so we have the master. These are balanced line outputs. So I'm figuring this is where you record from, you know, you can record from that. Or you can just connect it to the USB directly to a computer. You can merge it with, I mean, it'll just be your sound card then. You know, you can merge it with your, what do you call it? Your DAW or your DAW and merge it with it. I'm not sure exactly how you do that, exactly what it would do. But because I've never messed with a DAW before. How I make music is different, you know, I do it on the Commodore Amiga, or I do it, you know, on something like, I did it on something like MUD Tracker, or I just use tracker programs. So this is going to be, I'm going to be using this not entirely for music making, but just like for all my retro computers. Right, so I'm going to be using the XLR balanced outputs on mine, because I have Scarlett 2i2 and I love it. I just absolutely love it. It's gorgeous, it's red, it's just like this. What is a USB here, and that is for lights. Just a simple little USB lamp which I got from IKEA. You just get these from IKEA. And that's what it's there for. More or less. I don't need the lamp comes with a freaking instruction manual. This thing freaking Soundcraft console mixer does not. This is the world we live in, dudes. Anyway, what you can do is just to connect that there. As you can see, it's on, and you can just, you know, if you see low lights, what the freak is happening there? What is happening there? Oh, these just came on. How? Why? That's weird. Why? Right, okay, so what I'm going to do now is explain the input on the set out and how it is, you know, as I see it here. Right, I showed one of these to my friend, and you know, he saw all this and he was just like, "Whoa!" You know, it's complicated. I'm just like, actually it's not. It looks it because there's so much here. But I'll just go through it roughly and how, you know, it kind of works. This is not as complicated. Basically, think of it as just like, you know, lines going down. You know, each one of them. It's just pretend all is not here. Think of these columns. Goes all the way here. Now, this is one input, right? It's a mono input. So you can just connect whatever it is in there. And then you can adjust the gain here, adjust the equalization. So it's got a mid here, and it's got that Sapphyre mid, the asymmetric thing. Fantastic. Okay. I'm gonna enjoy messing around with this. We're gonna enjoy messing around with this, right? And yeah, your high frequency here. You have that. You have your aux. Oh yeah, I need to know what these auxes are. At some point, I will mess around and figure that out. And this is the pan. Pan is, you know, if you want this to be towards the left channel, it's like a balance control, but it's not, kind of, you know, ish. So panning, this will pan to the left, or you can pan this input to the left or the right, or just like center it so it's like mono. And you can mute this if you wish or not, and you know, that's your volume control for this input. Yeah, so that's just one input. Now the second input exactly the same, third input exactly the same. You just need to break it down. It's just like input, gain, equalization, FX, you know, you can just add an FX, and yeah, panning, mutes, and that's it. The slider volume, you know, you can control how much, and that's it. That's all you need to know. It's that simple, and it's the same thing, exactly the same thing for each input, you know, it's just columns. So you have one input here, and let's say you want to have a stereo input, which you can, you know, control the left and the right separately. So what you need to do is just connect something in here, and connect some left in here, right in here, adjust the gains for each, you know, switch the limiters on if you like. We'll do that later on, and I'll show you. Not the limiters, the nebulouses. Your equalization, adjust them for each channel, and then of course, you know, your effects if you want. Ooh, you can do it in separate channels. So here is your panning. You're gonna have your left, this one's gonna be left, and this one's gonna be right, or you can have them inverted. Your left can end up being your right, and your right can end up being your left, you know. So, and then you just like control the volume for each one of them. or mute, whichever one you wish to mute. One good thing about this is those of you who are, you know, long-term subscribers of my channel will know that I created this device for my Amiga. Now this is, of course, you know, those of you who love the Commodore Amiga or had one will know that the stereo separation is so freaking wide, you know, each channel is on a different planet to the other. And it can be hard to listen to on headphones. So what I did ages ago is I created this way back in the day, as in, you know, late 90s, when I was into creating music on Soundtracker. But I've created this properly this time around. And yeah, you just put the Amiga in, you put the Amiga input in, and then you just like output the wherever. Actually, that's 2 inputs. You can connect 2 Amigas. And outputs here, and you can just adjust the stereo separation using this. And that's how I used to record my Amiga music on the cassette or something like this. But with this, what you can actually do is normally you would have one going panning all the way to the left, panning all the way to the right. And if you want to, you know, reduce the stereo separation, you just pan it not completely to the left. And then this right, you don't do it completely to the right. So you have a control over the stereo separation this way. You know, and if you just do that, it's just going to be mono. Do you know what I mean? It's just going to be mono. So you just adjust the amount of stereo separation you want, and that's cool. You have the two inputs here. So this can be one stereo input, another stereo input, third stereo input. This can be a fourth if you wish, or it can just be, you know, instead of connecting left here, right here, you can just on this one single channel connect left here, right here, and have a stereo input going in here all the way down, controlling the equalization for that stereo input, the effects for the stereo again. This slider will just control both, the volume for both the left and right at the same time, so you won't be able to, you know, separate left and right and adjust them separately. It'll just be one single one, you know, if you use these two, that is. But if you just use it as a single one, just like you would with, you know, all these, then yeah, this can be one left and this can be right. That's cool. This one, what the freak it is, FX return. Okay, that's the effects. Right, okay, I want to talk a little bit about the mist and the 1-2 button. So you find on every single slider here, every single input, I should say. Well, it's actually mist, I'm figuring is master, which is this. It's to do with the output. So mist master and that 1-2 is this group 1 and 2. So this is corresponding to the different outputs. Okay, first of all, that freaking fan is on full and it's still freaking hot in here. Let me sort that out. It's like this thing's not even effective at full speed in front of a freaking window where all the fresh air like is being sucked in by it. So what I tend to do with these fans with metallic blades is just like slightly bend the fin inward a bit so that it kind of scoops more air. They're actually surprisingly easy to bend, so I don't want to do it too much. I'll probably like snap it off if I... Ooh, that is much better. And so that feels a little better. There's more air being pulled from outside. Anyway, let's get back to this. So you have two sets of outputs here. You have the GURP, which is the group, and you have the mist, which is the master. And that is left and right, and this is group 1, group 2, which is, you know, essentially left and right. Or each individual can be a mono, I suppose. Actually, yeah, each individual can be a mono. Because you have the master here, the mist, going to the mist. Ah, okay, so you can make the group go... Anyway, let's slow down. Okay, let's slow down. I'll explain this now. Right, so you have group, you have master, and two separate outputs. Now this is the master volume for the... This is the main volume, I should say, for the group 1 and 2. 1 and 2. That's cool. Then you have the master volume for the mist at the top, yeah? Now let's say if you want... Let's say you want all of these to come out of master, right? So you select master on all of them, the top button there, the master one. So you select master on all of them. But you only want these two, this one and this one, to be on group output. So you do that, you have group outputs here, and then just these two are going to be group. Just that, yeah? But they're all going to be master. So you can select whichever one of these to be on master, whichever one to be on group, and you have essentially two different outputs, which is, you know, cool. That's good. And yeah, you can make the group be mono only by clicking that mono button. That will make the group, all the things that are selected the group be mono, and then stereo again, of course. And yeah, that's essentially it. It's just like two separate outputs. So that is just like a basic explanation on, you know, how this works. It's not as intimidating as it looks. You know, more or less, that's it. You can mute whatever you want. You got complete control. You can mix them into each other, and this is how, you know, when you see those in music studios, you see like the sound engineers just moving up and down the sliders, and you're like, how the freak do they know what is what? That's how they know what is what. Once you've set that up, you know exactly what these sliders are, even though they'll all look the same. You know what inputs what adds what sound, and so forth. You know, it's just how cool it is. I love this. I'm looking forward to this for so long. Right, so let's start connecting stuff to this, right? And mess around with it. Right, so via the headphone output, what I'm going to do is connect this directly to your ears. But before I do that, I'm going to connect the microphones. Our Behringer stereo mix here, I just got Behringer, and actually decent mix, you know, microphones. Okay, so we have the left microphone. Let's connect to this. Then we have the right microphone here. Let's connect to this one. This is not strictly like, you know, it's a pair of microphones, and they're matched pair. It's not necessarily stereo, it's just two separate inputs, but you're kind of effectively making it into stereo by mixing them together. That's how you do it with these. So for this, since they are condenser microphones, you will need to switch the 48 volts phantom power on. So I'm going to connect the output of this to your ears. Right, okay, so you have to turn group on, and the group is these, but the pan is in the center, so neither of them are going to be, neither of the mix are going to be, you know, left or right. They're just going to be panned to the center, so if essentially it's mono, it's just, you know, just might as well do that. But, ooh, that is, yeah, sorry. Okay, so now, obviously, it's a stereo setup, but you're not getting stereo. Why? You know, you can see that? There's no difference. But if you pan channel 1, the green one, which is this, you pan that all the way to the left, and then you pan this red one here all the way to the right, and then you will get like that. And yeah, that's basically as easy as that. Right, a couple of little criticisms, stroke, bugs, glitches, whatever you freaking want to call it. Right, you put this, you put the light in, right? And this was designed for a freaking light. Now, if you notice that, if you waggle it around, something is being clicked, and that's just acting freaking abnormally. That should not happen. But it's slowly just lighting all of them up, and it only should be one at once. You can't have all the freaking effects happening at once. So you do that, and you just select one. You do that, you select the other. But when you freaking waggle this USB thing, this power thing, it starts playing havoc with that, and that's a little worrying, actually. So yeah, that's weird. I'm a little hesitant connecting a freaking USB because of that. I don't want to screw this up. So anyway, right, that's one bug or whatever. The next freaking criticism is that it is official. This thing has no power switch, and this thing gets hot. What were they thinking? It's a power switch, come on dudes. Right, because what I'm gonna have to do now is with one of these leads, get one of those mains inline switches and just kind of, you know, put a switch on this on a wire. So I'll just turn it on and off like a freaking lamp. I mean, come on. Switch here would be, and I'm definitely not going to mod this. You know, so I'm just going to have to do that. What I want to do is just get a spare IEC cable like this and just like, you know, put a switch inline in it. And yeah, I'm going to have to do that. Which sucks. I mean, that's like, there's not many criticisms I have for this. Oh, and also the third one is that you can very slightly, even with the FX off, switched off and turn down everything, even, you know, these turned down, you can slightly hear, very slightly hear a little reverb when you were on the microphone. I think you must have heard it throughout the video. Yeah, and just those three things that I've noticed so far. And everything else is fantastic. You know, I love this otherwise. What we have here is the equalization, high frequency at the top. So you can, like, you know, I can make my voice very hissy. And you know, you can cut the treble on your voice. So and you can do this independently. So I can do it, you know, high on the left and on the right low, or vice versa. Here is the FX. Now the FX, you cannot just, you know, turn it on like this, just like that. You have to, this is the, yeah, so this channel here, this is just for the effects, you know, and how much mix you add, how much of the effects you add to your whatever inputs you've selected the effects to be in. So, okay, for example, I have a room effect, right? And I just, you know, just put that up, yeah, and you can, yeah, pan the effects there, okay, but you won't be able to hear anything until you start putting this blue one up. So the FX is blue, and that is blue. So it's all nice and color coded. Okay, that's cool, and you can, like, you know, mix in. You can turn the effects up and down and mix it in when you put it in. You take it out there, it goes back to room. Doesn't matter what effects type you do, it just takes it back to room. Why? So you press it and it then selects it. Okay. Okay. The proper ASMR with us. ASMR. Okay. Now, modern chorus. What's modern chorus? Let's kind of, like, you know, mess around with the parameters a bit. 2-second delay. 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 Sorry, that's too freaking nuts. That's just freaking nuts. That's just freaking nuts. What the freak? The freak. What the freak? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. It just gets worse and worse no matter what you do. I'm gonna take that off. That's nuts. Shut up. This is too much. Much. Oh my god. Oh, it's someone's head this way. Oh, okay, yeah, because obviously adjusting it real time, and that's why it's gonna do that. So that is, ooh. Okay, so let's connect the cassette player to it. Line out my gorgeous Sony D6c. I love it. So here we have the microphones, which you're hearing me through. So let's connect the D6c, the Sony cassette recorder, to left and right here. So these two. Okay, so we bought some more of these. And from the D6c, we have left and we have right. Okay, and put the gain up for that, just put it halfway. I'll adjust it afterwards. So let's have some fun with some SID music. I've got my cassette compilation here, my gorgeous cassette tapes. I really love these 80s looking Maxell ones. Hello sound. Where are you? I know that's not the sound. Oh yeah, because of this. Right, so those of you who have or know the Commodore 64 will know that it is actually, you know, mono. Because, you know, the SID is just a mono thingy, so mono sound output. So those of you who know my channel and have been my long-term subscribers will know that I've done a mod which, you know, it's like a dual SID. It's like on the left is the 8580 SID, the newer one, and on the right is the 6581, the older SID. And, you know, they're both working at the same time, so giving a stereo effect. So this is how I've recorded these, you know, all these SIDs on here. Okay, so we're there, where we want to be. Right, so let's put the volume up here, and of course you can control each SID. I'm going to connect this directly. One of these is going to be connected to my, my Commodore 64. Each SID, 6581 and 8580. So I'll be able to, I've got independent control of either. And I can even pan. So it's kind of, oh, this is fantastic. I got complete control over them. Just kind of mess around with the is the bass higher? I don't want to make the highs too high. Ooh, nice bass. You can make it broad or narrow, that's fantastic. That's what this asymmetric thing does. The Sapphire Asymmetric thing. Oh, wow! It's weird. It feels so analog. Feels like you're DJing or something. So while we find a song here, let's connect another source. So let's connect the Minidisc player recorder to the other two channels. My goodness, you know, I'm so glad I still kept these. I did this when I was like 17 or 18 or something like this. I was so excited about it. I was just recording endlessly. I just loved it. Oh, hot, scorching summer's night and freaking refrigerated watermelon. Oh, perfecto. Freaking tooth freeze. It's too cold. I got another lead because this thing, I freaking end up needing these, so I decided just to get one. It's just stupid freaking blister packs. Okay, it was already freaking open. Okay, let's put this beautiful crystal blue Minidisc in here. Press play on that, and also press play. Let's press play. Let's press play on that as well. Let's set these first. Okay, okay, that's done. Oh yeah, forgot about that panning. Okay, let's press play on both of them at the same time, and you'll see why. This is an Amiga remix that which is playing at the moment from the cassette is SID, Commodore 64 SID. Absolutely love this remix. It just gives me feeling. And of course, it's a gorgeous Commodore 64 SID one as well. Melts my heart, this remix. Do you know what I'm gonna do? What I also got for this, I got these different color sliders because it's 4mm. So for the microphones, I'm gonna have the black ones. Left to right. I just love everything color coded, that's why. For the master, actually, I'm gonna have a red. Oh, Pterodactyl by Pixent Loop. Still needs some stereo separation adjustment, so I can just do that. Chorus effect. Oh yeah, another by Pixent Loop. The asymmetrical thing is fantastic. It just covers so much of the equalization. Sick. Oh, that sounds so good with the FX. This is normal. My god, I think I recorded these with Dolby C. I was obsessed with the Dolby effect. And before I go, I have one more thing to show you, and that is I have a PO20 or PO20, what I call it. It's a pocket operator, and it's like a mini music maker sort of thing, but it's just so much fun. It's like a, you know, like a calculator style sort of thing. It's by Teenage Engineering, and I got the Pocket Operator 20, which is the arcade one with all the arcade sounds. And yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go too much into it here. I'm gonna, you know, record its own video. Let's just take this out of here, and then connect this to the output of the PO 20. And of course there's no effects here. We'll just make sure by just putting the effects all the way down. This is just the raw coming from here. I did like create a little bit of a segment of a tune or something. Basically what this thing is, you got your sounds and you can program. I'm not going to go too much into it. As I said, I'm going to make its own video, but I created a little bit of a sound, so I'm going to you layer it, you create it using layers. And you can do like live effects in it, which is really cool. So this is, you know, upcoming. Let's do the live effects. And yeah, this is it's just cool. You can sit there and you can just layer, create your own drums and rhythms, and then, you know, I mean, it's all just, and you can, you know, that's your parameters. Like, for example, it's like a synthesizer. Like this, for example, you just, if you do this one, you turn this one, it's the note, and then this one is just, it's very SID-like. I can, and also what I can do with this, I can record, I can sample from this, you know, under the Amiga and, you know, so forth. So it's just, yeah, it's just nice to mess around with something like this. So yeah, as I said, this is going to have its own video at some point. Now, once I learned more about it, because this is something that you really have to mess around with. And yeah, I had to read the instruction manual for this. Now let's finish off with Waterfall, which is a piece of music of mine I wrote and recorded on this disc from, you know, back in the day. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed yourself here with me, because I have certainly had a lot of fun here. Thanks so much for your likes, your shares. Do leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my other videos and to subscribe for more. And also do hit that bell icon because freaking YouTube is screwed up. Anyway, for now I will say adios. Now every now and then I'll be reversing the order of my Patreon list just to be fair to the ones at the bottom of the alphabet list. So for their generous donations, I would like to say a big thank you to my lovely patrons: Wayne Marsh, Tina Stomcaller, Thomas Muller, Thomas Presina, The Deeply Cynical, Stuart Evans, Steve Jones, Sophie Leroy, Sigurdur Finsen, Rudiger Stiedel, Roy Gelotti, Rofi Otterstein, Rob Otley, Robert Menes, Risky Flyer, Richard Lansett, you just got in just in time, Ruben Barnett, Restless.com, Rancy Playavelli, Peter Lingback, Paul Mescaline, Paul Delta, Patrick Ekman, Obraxis, Nigel, Mixtress Ray, Mindfly Retro, Milika Delik, Mickey Holm, Matti Immonen, Matthew Simpson, Matt Shepkar, Mark McDonald, Mark Amoren, Maria Engstrom, Mats Trest, Yuka Isohotala, Just 80, Jim Leonard, Jeffrey T. Bird, Jason Cadaver, Jan Bitta, James Hare, James Burr, Hazemaker, Glenn Biorek, Jeff Major, Gav Messingham, Frederick Rambris, Frat M, Espen Galbeck, Eric Andre, Electroscape UK, Egon Olsen, Duncan Mullock, Derek Oig, Dave Rowland, Dan Through, Counting Virtual Sheep, Calder Fusion, Casual Commodore, Karsten Larvat, Harry S. Turner, Cameron Armstrong, Brett Hansen, Boris Matashin, Axel Dominator, Austin Pryor, Anthony Proctor, Andrio, Alex, Albert Hartman, Al Hunt, and Addy. If you wish to support me on Patreon, the link is in the description below, as well as links to my patrons' websites and YouTube channels.